What's up, y'all? Phantom, what's going on? My bad. Had some computer issues. Um, L.A.R movement still moving. This is gonna be an interesting one on in some aspects. Um, if you know the title, protest interlopers. Um, Let me get back to the definition of what an interloper is, so people understand where I'm coming from with this. It's basically somebody who's doing something that doing something that doesn't belong. Um, a person who becomes involved in a place or situation where they are not wanted or are considered not to belong. Craig, what's happening? DJ Moss, what's happening? Nicole, what's going on? Ibmore, what's happening, fam? And with these protests going on, it's a lot of things um, that go on that I always think about when stuff like this happens. And one of the major things I think about is interlopers. What's up, Melvin? Pope Pimp. And what I mean by that is you got people like when they were saying, oh man, Kings, what's happening? What's happening? Yeah. One of the things Aubrey was good. One of the things is interlopers. And what I mean by that is there are people, like when they were talking about in Minnesota, what's up, Paul? That there are people who are not from that city who get arrested. A lot of things are going to be blamed on us as Black people because the protest started because of what happened to George Floyd. And I'm not talking about like people are protesting even outside the United States. I'm not talking about them. They have nothing to do with that. As a Black man, I appreciate that they're doing it. This is not taking shots at people. This is just that, and third. I'm just saying this is what's going on. Rolex, no, what's happening, Nola? Uncle Ed, what's happening? 504, baby. So what it is, they got people like Antifa. What's up, CEO? And, people like Antifa look at this as an opportunity to be provocateurs, right? Be agents of chaos, right? And at some point, this makes, hey, Nefertiti, this makes, because Antifa stands for anti-fascism, but it's not anti-fascism anymore. It's just to a degree, racist. So the same type of people who are interloping and getting involved in these protests are the same type of people that'll be a couple of months from now. What about Chicago? What about the protests? What about the violence? Those people are burning down property and this, that, and the third. They're stealing this and that and the third. And these are the very people doing it. You get what I'm saying? So they're interlopers. Right, what's happening? Man, I appreciate all y'all. Don't think about that, Charles. And I mean that. But let me get back to the topic. It's like, so now you got people who are out to protest and out to speak their piece. Just like when the police department in Minnesota got burned down in Minneapolis. When I saw the picture, them people wasn't Black. Understand the sentiment. I get it, but that's going to be blamed on us, which fine, whatever. But the other thing about that is when I was thinking about it, I was like, the police in Minnesota and Minneapolis are going to probably police, and the police probably nationwide where they're protesting are probably going to police, quote unquote, predominantly Black neighborhoods or Black areas harder than they would all these other areas. You know what I'm saying? To a local, hey man, let her do her thing. Pop, what's happening? Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that, Uncle. I feel you on that. I definitely understand that. But they're gonna police Black areas harder, and you got to understand there's some people who are interloping into these protests who are hoping for this stuff to happen on the back end where something happens to us in particular. You get what I'm saying? You got protest interlopers like this has happened before, where they had police officers into the crowd and start stuff. So then it can go from a protest to a riot. And you've had people expose that. You've had people who say, people have been dropping off like bricks and this, that, and the third to throw in the windows. And, some people think the police is doing that. Personally, I think it's more people like Antifa, or remember in Ferguson, they had the quote unquote guys who was the patriots, whatever, who was driving the town, kicking up dust in the arc. They was on the side of the cops, but at the same time, egging on, making the protest a riot type of thing. We got to talk about things, oh. Not one child support getting me. Yeah, that's hilarious. That is hilarious, though, Mike. Yeah, yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that, Nicole. You know, he said, I definitely understand that one. We gotta, we gotta get to the point where, we got to know what's going on, because I saw a little clip of John Jones, and that's what inspired this. Because John Jones was out, I think he's in Albuquerque or something like that, and he was going out, and there was kids out, young men out. He was taking their spray cans from them, like give it up, and they weren't black. But and John Jones has had his legal troubles, and some people could say that's a publicity stunt. Some people could say whatever, but I get it, because they're dressed in all black, and what they do is going to be blamed on us as black people, even in a city like, I want to say, Albuquerque. Right, baiting them with the cars. Exactly. What's up, Aubrey? You know, this Goshen, what's happening? Video on what you got? A video on majority percent. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Goshen. Hold up. That's the problem right there, because people are thinking that, have we protested and rioted before and all that? Yeah, that's happened in my community, but there are a lot of interlopers who play this game, and then they say the event. Man, I got you on that, CEO. I got you on that, CEO. I definitely get what you're saying. And we've had in the past, like Nicole was talking about, there have been people who were paid protesters. Indigenous, thanks, fam. And like when they talk about businesses being burnt down, we got to take this back years ago. And I know people are still doing this to this day, because it happened in Ferguson. If I'm not mistaken, it was the last time they had something burned down in a riot. You got business owners burning their own stuff down to get out of the weight of being financially responsible. Paying, man, that is crazy, Indigenous. But I'm not surprised. And if people think, how can you pay them? Well, you paying somebody probably destitute or homeless to do something, because people who are protesting, they don't need the money. They're not going out there to do something for money. They're going out there to do something for the cause. So when you're paying somebody to do this stuff, you got to say, okay, you're getting somebody who was probably homeless at the time anyways, and who was looking for money, and it's just a crowd of people. So on camera, it doesn't look like much. But getting back to the people who own businesses, what's up, producer? I got people who own businesses who like, yo, you interlopers. What's up, George? Let me burn this joint down and say it's somebody. Or, so we play this game. Cool. We play this game. Well, we're getting played in this game where people are using us to be a scapegoat for the things that they're trying to push. Some of the very people who say we out here stealing TVs are stealing TVs. They're breaking into Targets and this, that, and the third, and running out with stuff. That's why you see more black people filming non-black people, quote unquote, not quote unquote, but looting. That's why you see more black people filming non-black people looting, because it's like, oh, because you're gonna blame this on us. This ain't us. Yeah, soldier, it might It might, you know, they're always in all black, full face mask. Yeah, I noticed that, fam. I definitely noticed that. Young Jay, what's going on? Right. That's the thing. And one of the other things about this is when I say protest interloper, sometimes you got to depend on what city you're in because some people are in a college town. So when you say people are not from there, they're not from there, but they live there. You get what I'm saying? They may live there because they're in school there. Kenan, because a lot of times protesters are young adults. Tony, what's happening? Alpha, what's going on? You see that, huh? You see that. Hold up, Pop. Deacon, what's going on, fam? Don't Yeah, and that's the point. I saw, I was talking to Devin yesterday. I'm glad you got it on video, so it's one of those things where, the thing that was going on with J.R. Smith, y'all saw that when he beat the dude up for going through the neighborhood. He wasn't in a residential, he wasn't in the business district. He was in a residential area. And thanks, fam. I'm sorry, Pop. Thank you. My bad, Kevin. What's happening? I said, "Oh man, L.A. was off the chain." Yeah, I could see that. Like I didn't go out. They did stuff here in Houston, but it was nice and peaceful. I didn't go because like I don't have the patience for that. To be perfectly honest, like somebody yells at me or yells the wrong thing or tries to push me out the way, I'm just not doing it. You know, Right, yeah, and I saw that on Steve's page. They burning down the Popeyes. Steve like, you can't blame that on black folks. The dean was hilarious, but that's true. Since we're gonna be stereotypical, we're not burning down Popeyes. That's not something we doing. It's 2-piece Tuesday tomorrow. You know. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know exactly, Melvin. That's why I brought that up because that's what business owners back in the Chi used to do. They burnt down their own businesses, blamed it on black folks and the protesters and the insurance. And that's another thing. When they say this one of the other reasons about protest interlopers. When you hear black business owners say, when a black business is burned down, it never comes back, or the probability of it coming back is low. Nobody ever takes into consideration that how is it that they can have the same insurance company as their now non-black counterparts who got their businesses burned down, but that black business can't come back, but the non-black businesses they get enough money to come back. Nobody ever takes that in consideration because basically, if that's the case, that means the insurance companies are on the fix. That's what it is. Because that's like a house burning down, or in a real estate sense, the person who owns the land and the facility, they get a check, and then they say, you can't come back here. But the other people get a check, but they get a check and tell the other people, oh, come on back. It's part of that stigma of protest interlopers, because now you can get rid of somebody or get rid of another person or move somebody in that you quote unquote want, right? That's the problem. It is what it is. Yeah, man. Yeah, Nicole, he is. I ain't say that situation was A1 because it wasn't, but the situation when he chased down the dude that busted his window, yeah, I'm not gonna put that thing that happened last year into this thing that happened this year. But I get your point. Yeah, you see the social distance is eerie because you seeing too many people. You don't have to social distance now that you're in a protest, and it kind of makes things look. What's up, Phil? Now, don't be surprised, as a matter of fact, saying protest interlopers, don't be surprised if when these things die down, hey, Mina, when these things die down, they say the coronavirus kicked back up because of all the protests, and they try to blame that on us as black people. The coronavirus had a second wave and it exploded because of all these protests, all these black people protesting in all these cities. But they're not going to say, about they're not going to speak about all these protest interlopers. And if people actually have the coronavirus, because remember, prior to this, they were talking about white supremacist groups, nationalist groups, basically racist white folks who wanted to. What's up, Bree? Who 6ix9ine? What's going on? You know, I know. Heavy hitters. What's popping? You know, they don't be surprised if they mess around and say something like, those people. Let me go back. They had white supremacist groups, white nationalists, basically white racists, who wanted to use the coronavirus as a way to get more black people sick. So don't be surprised if some of these people in these riots and interlopers are purposely there just to try to get people sick, if they got it, or try to get people sick, because they're going to assume it's black people there. So, and being that, we know these are the type of individuals that will take advantage of a situation like this to do that, but they'll get everybody sick in the process. They don't care, Oh yeah, I know about that, James. But this is where we're at. This is why I mean protest interlopers, because people are not going to get blamed for the things they do. Non-black people don't get blamed for their criminal activity. And I saw, it might be BS, but you know how this country works, blaming us for everything. So it's just an opportunity to do so. This is problematic. Poke Dog, what's popping? George, man, what's happening? I got you, George. Because hold up. Let me do this. Since I'm home, let me say something. I got you if you won't come on, George. I didn't even think about it, fam. But it's a lot of protesters who are not actually protest. It's a lot of people at the protest who are not protesters. That's my point. And what winds up happening is we're not playing this game. We can't really pick out who's who because these interlopers get in the way. Miss Witt, what's going on? So what's happening? These interlopers get in the way and try to make it about everything else. Now I'm gonna say something that even deals with us as a group. I talked about this on O'Shea's channel about all the rappers who was always on that gangster, drug dealer shooting, all that. How quiet most of them are, and then some of them have an issue. Like I saw Lil Wayne thing, and they went at Lil Wayne about it, and I'm like, you gotta remember, Lil Wayne is the same person who made the Emmett Till line. And you hear now. I saw something with Killer Mike talking about what we shouldn't do, and I understand Killer Mike lives in Atlanta, so it's a different racial dynamic and a different business dynamic. You know what I'm saying? But I find it interesting that you got particularly artists, rappers, or whatever. People push the criminal lifestyle. All of a sudden, now they want. Yeah, they should have known. They should have known that, Goshen. So Trent, what's popping? Believe trolling. Yeah, I feel that. Trill. Well, I know they knew. I know they knew him. You know what I'm saying? Because Stack knew him or whatever. But let's just be honest. Like you got rappers who, if you could talk about killing, and I don't want to hear your story about. We need to chill out. Like this is too much. You're going too far. Blah blah blah. Because y'all don't go too far in y'all rhymes. Y'all don't go too far telling the world you drug dealers. Y'all don't go too far, telling everybody you kill everybody. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that shenanigans about people need to chill out and calm down because it's a problem. Because normally what you're getting is people who, who made their money off of exalting a criminal lifestyle. They went legit, and now they got businesses that they're trying to protect, and they don't want their businesses to go under through the protests, even though, the way they put themselves out there puts more brothers at risk, And it's used. I mean, and it's a weak point in a sense because we know that it's all entertainment, but it helps people and their ridiculous stereotype imagery of us. You know, was it Dame Dash? I mean, it is what it is because he tried to rob. Nah, well, I mean, that's what he getting, indigenous. That's what he get. I don't know. I don't know what makes you think. What the hell you gonna rob from a FedEx truck? See, that's the type of stuff where you know what's on the truck. You know, when you know what's on the truck, you do stuff like that. You don't just let me just rob a. This ain't the Fast and the Furious. You got to know what they carry. You know, yeah. You know, this is part of the stuff. What I mean by interlopers. You got people out here playing this game. Oh man, my bad, George. I got you right now. I got you right now. My bad, fam. Um, you got people who coming along and they're gonna use this stuff as and even when I mean interlopers, I also mean some of the quote unquote civil rights leaders who the churches are gonna tell people to calm down and relax because people forget a lot of these churches own a lot of property, own a lot of businesses. A lot of times these churches are not hiring our people in their own businesses. They're renting property, and sometimes I hate to say this, but sometimes your pastor overcharging you for rent. Sometimes your pastor is who actually owns the corner store. Sometimes your pastor is the one that's doing that. They play that game. He said, you ain't like that, huh, young Jay? So this is part of the issue. No more. Let me see where this thing is at. Okay. The other thing that's bothersome about these type of things is, like I said, we're gonna get blamed for all this stuff. And all of the people that are blamed for this stuff are the people that are actually but it ain't click on yet. Okay. Okay. You there? Oh well, you know what? I see you ain't got your camera on. Let me cut mine off, man. Let me cut mine off. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna
Yeah,
fix it when it clicks on the screen or whatever.
yeah, I'm here.
But there you go.
Yeah, can you
But
hear
this
me?
is what happens in our society. Because at the end of the day, this is the game we playing. I hear you, George.
Yeah, and I'm here in Philly, man, where like Atlanta, is predominantly black, but it's just a big, big city, man. And you know, I've been all since 6 o'clock this morning. I've been riding around the whole city recording video, man. I'm gonna actually get a real good edited video, man. I've been in like different sections of the city recording the aftermath of what happened last night. I mean, it was explosions, man. Shit. I mean, it's fucked up, man. Like this shit set on fire. And I was interviewing people in the street, white people, black people, the youth. I'm in the car with my dad now. We ride around. They brought that Wawa up. I'm trying to go to a Wawa to use the machine to take some money out. But all the Wawas and the road passes all boarded up. But I mean, they destroyed everything but black. Like I grew up in Southwest Philly, and that's it's an area called Little Africa where they have all the stores. They didn't burn down none of the African stores or any black-owned businesses, but everybody else, man, I mean, the Lowe's, you had people riding down it. They were still in tractor trailers. People riding down the street with freaking refrigerators on the back of the back of trucks. But the thing is, L.A.R, the question I have is, it's easy to be mad at the young people running wild, man. But my question is, where's the Black Caucus and the Black leaders and the so-called Black Republicans and Democrats to get policy pushed so some of this stuff can stop? My thing is, it's the people in the suits that we keep letting off the hook that are in front. I don't expect Pookie and Ray Ray to go out to Washington and get policies passed where these police officers can be punished. It's the fucking black people that we look to as leadership that we let them off the hook every time. How come every time somebody black gets killed, you see fucking Benjamin Crump and Lee Merritt representing them? That shit make me think this shit be fake. He like 0 for 1,000.
I was gonna get to that part next because they're protest interlopers too. Because people show up Then they say we're going to do policy, this, that. Then they don't do a policy. Then they
Nope.
create a fund, and the fund is for their particular organization that they run. Now, and
Thank you.
then they get a check, and we don't know who benefited, who got any money from it. And then the next time something happened, these same organizations pop up.
And I'm
You
gonna
know,
tell you, Ella, a lot of people ain't gonna like what I say, but I don't care because I know Negroes are conditioned to be subordinate to everybody else but each other. It's not the youth that tore up the communities; it's the fucking leadership that tore this shit up. Because it's gonna happen. What's gonna happen, Ella, if that cop go to trial and only get 2 years?
that,
Wait till y'all see this video I put up, man, and I show the youth out here talking. These kids ain't as dumb as people think they are. This one young boy, 23, told me, I've been watching cops shoot black people and go to court and get off, and nothing happens. And I said, well, what do y'all expect from us? And he was like, man, y'all not doing nothing for us. And when you look at it, it's just too much blacks, it's too much leadership on both sides, Republican and Democrats, that are fucking sellouts. And they sell out our communities for pennies on a dollar, man.
that's very problematic. And the crazy part about it is, these are part of the interlopers that we don't talk about. And one of the other groups that's we don't talk about all the other groups who are waiting for the property value to go down in all these rioted areas so they could buy our property on the cheap. We don't talk. There are corporations and individuals and groups themselves who are even part of these quote unquote riots, that they are willing to, you know what, help tear this stuff down. So in
Yep.
6 months I could buy it on the cheap.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Here, especially in Philadelphia, especially here.
see, we don't, and because one of the brothers was talking about, the black conservatives are gonna blame black folks too, but they're not gonna look at everybody else who's doing stuff.
Well, the black conservatives and the black church and the black liberals are going to blame the black people, going to blame the black youth. But the black conservatives ain't got no policies pushed. Black Democrats ain't did shit. The thing is, the problem that you have is, it's not the act that the cop putting his knee on the man's neck, because they've been doing that to us. The problem is the mentality of, I can do it and get away with it because you niggas don't care about each other, and your leadership is a failure. So I can kill this black man in front of the world and ain't nothing gonna happen. I can call the police on this black man if I want to. It's the mentality of the act, not the actual act, because the act's been happening for generations. And then people want to bring on, what about black on black crime? Miss me with that bullshit. White people kill white people kill black people. Why don't black on black crime has nothing to do with white racism in this country, man? Stop comparing the two. That,
There you
that that's a
go.
that's a smoke screen.
That's why I don't. That's one of the issues that I have about these protests, because you don't know who's people. People are not taking the time because you don't think it's just a protest. It's because when I think of the people who went to the cop's house, they're protesters. When I think of the people who was burning up stuff, they're rioting. Some of the protesters are at the riots, and some of the protests turn into riots because some people who aren't really protesting decide it's time to tear stuff up.
Yep. And I'm gonna
It
tell
is
you,
what it is.
there's 117 people watching right now. I'm gonna say this to y'all Negroes. If for all of y'all that think y'all got white friends, and some of y'all that got white girlfriends or some white boyfriends or whatever, you at the job with Billy and Meredith and Caitlin, let me tell y'all something, man. If they say Black Lives Matter, make them prove it to y'all. When you see the videos,
Mm-hmm.
when y'all saw me yesterday on the street, those y'all that was watching when I was in the trenches, when the cops are shooting tear gas bombs at the crowd, and I was in the middle of it, and I was talking to the white people, I told them, I asked them, do Black Lives Matter? They said, yeah. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Fuck Black Lives. Do reparations matter for Black people? They said, yeah. I said, well, 2 weeks from now, when all this die down, I want you and scores of white people protesting outside every municipal building across this country on behalf of Black people, if y'all are allies, because this ain't a Black people problem. This is a white people problem. And if you want this, if you say you're not racist, you want this to go away, I encourage you to tell your white friends to prove themselves. Are they willing to lose their job for you? Are they willing to lose white infrastructure for you? If not, they ain't your fucking friends. So we want to see them protesting now. The Chinese community. How much money has the Black community given the Chinese community in the last 35 years? in our so-called $1 trillion economy that we have. We put their kids through college. We've done everything. Are they out there marching on your behalf based off of all our us patronizing them and them Chinese stores over the years? Fuck no. So do we got any friends? You niggas are used to being subordinate to everybody else because you're not dependent upon each other. So now you feel sorry for everybody else but black people, man. Make
That
them
that
free themselves.
that's another thing when it comes to the quote unquote minorities and people of color in this. Don't think these people are not gonna use this 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now to get an extra loan. Don't think somebody they're gonna blame us for something that happened to their business that they probably did, or somebody that doesn't look like us probably did, and then all of a sudden we together because of this issue, but at the same time I'm gonna use you as cover to get over because of this issue. Like this is the problem about let me slow down. This is a problem when I'm talking about people who interlope in this stuff and they come in and out when it's convenient for them. When George was talking about the people wanting reparations, these people, these people not gonna do that. They just want to protest.
We gotta
You
make
know,
them do it. We gotta make. Go ahead, that's what you said. I'm gonna
no,
try.
no, you got it.
I'll try one. We gotta make them. We gotta make them. If they say they are friends, we need them to support. We need them to protest on our behalf without us being there. We got our agenda. You are allies. Go over there and talk to Mr. Charlie and Mr. Gilmore and them, and tell them protest against your own people for sins against the for their sins, man. Protest. Prove your worth to us. Because we can't see. Let me tell you something. A lot of us suffer from fracatosis, man. Acute white affinity syndrome, man. We got it bad. Soon as a white person come out and say what you want to hear, we like, yeah. Well, the white person said that they love us. They said that they said that they think he should be guilty, and then we start cheering. Man, fuck all of that. I don't need you to come out and march with me. I need you to march against your own people on our behalf. That's what has to happen because a lot of these stores are insured. A lot of these people gonna go out and get loans based off for people of color based off of shit that's supposed to be for us. A lot of these other stores. So listen, stop feeling so bad for everybody else but your own people, man. But your own people. Yeah, I mean, make them protest for reparations for us. Because when we said Black Lives Matter, they said all lives matter.
Right.
When we said ADOS and reparations, they said that they don't believe we should get it. Now they out there marching with you, man. Bullshit, man.
And I mean, I'm gonna have to say this partially. Y'all gotta understand the difference between even the police. There's some police out there who just trying to shut you up and I'm gonna get cool with you, and we gonna protest with you. But 2 months from now, there's gonna be the same person that pull you over and pick a fight with you. You gotta understand, like, so unfortunately, we got to deal with these situations the whole way because people just want people to go home. I want you to go home. I want you to chill out. Let us handle it. And everybody knows it's not going to be handled. I think this is the part of the protests and the quote unquote riots that in a racial part is very interesting to me because truth be told, the people who are rioting that are non-black, they know they can get away with that stuff. You see, you don't see when you see riots in these situations and people doing stuff. If you notice, you're not going to see the police arresting non-black people like that when they tear up stuff. When they burning down stuff, because you got to think about when all these businesses, when they throw bricks through windows, when they make Molotov cocktails and burn stuff down, that's not something that we really do. That's something other people do. This is why I'm saying they're interlopers, because how often do you see us walking around with Molotov cocktails? How often do you see us just, we're going to figure out a way to burn down and blow up a business? That's not what we do. Could we throw stuff in windows? Yeah, we've done that before, but you're not seeing all this damage. We flipping over cars. That's not something that's really part of our culture, flipping over cars. We don't really know how to blow up police cars. You know what I'm saying? We're not into all of that. Throwing rocks, yeah. All the other stuff, no.
But but see, this is the thing though. White people have tore this country up for decades and generations.
Mhm.
White people have gotten things passed through destruction. White militia groups have shot up banks. They most of these people that's going in it, that's doing mass killings are done by white people, white men, middle-aged white men. They've tore this country up to get recognition and notice by the government for their plight against the government. So people can miss me with black people when we get fed up about some shit. And the problem is, it's always some fucking Negroes bootlicking and tiptoeing through the tombs with white people, criticizing. But those same Negroes ain't doing nothing to get policy pushed to get shit stopped. Nothing. All we ever do is easy for us to beat up on each other, but we don't want to question Mr. Charlie. And I'm tired of the hypocrisy, man. And L.A.R, I need you. I need some of that L.A.R wisdom, man. Listen, we from the hood, man. We using common sense. How the fuck does Benjamin Crump keep getting hired?
Because he's I talked about that already, man. He's not getting hired. That's the interesting thing about it. You know what I'm saying? Because he can't prosecute these people. If you notice, he's never been a prosecutor on these cases. BMT, what's happening, fam? You know you welcome. Just say the word. Um, he's never he just shows up. I wouldn't have a problem if he showed up and win, and when he shows up, it wins. But when he shows up, it's like it's guarantees a loss. Uh, I don't understand that.
I want to know. I want to know how does he? Why do people call him in to represent them when he hasn't got any convictions?
That's my like. That's he gets you a check after it's over with.
And that's the sad part, though. But
You
that's
should
even
get a
more
conviction and a
disrespectful.
check though.
And that's right. So if somebody killed my son, who y'all see on video all the time, if somebody shoot and kill my son, you gonna give me $2 million, and I'm supposed to be cool with that? Ain't no amount of money worth you killing my goddamn son and you ain't getting no conviction.
That, and ironically, didn't you know what's crazy? Didn't George Zimmerman just get arrested for a DUI like in Atlanta?
I don't even know, man.
If I'm not mistaken, he just got arrested in Atlanta for DUI. Now the irony of that is, this is what I mean by interlopers. People don't even, I'm gonna find out, because I could have swore I saw that this morning.
Yeah, I don't know. But then the sad part is where is the so-called educated black people calling out saying, yo, we're not using Lee Merritt and Benjamin Crump no more. There's a lot of competent black people, that black lawyers that can come in here and get a conviction. Where the fuck are they at? How come nobody questioned this shit yet? I mean, even a nigga in the street can look and say, I ain't hiring that nigga. He ain't win no cases.
He ain't gonna win a case. You can't win a case when you not. Excuse me. No, he didn't get arrested for that. Okay, somebody just put that up as fake shenanigans. He's not. How can he get the case if he ain't from the city? For one, because when you prosecute somebody, that's the cities that's doing that. The state. He's not a state prosecutor. He's not a city prosecutor. I'm doubling over there, George. My bad.
He a lawyer.
Yeah, but just because he's a lawyer don't mean he could be a lawyer for you in your case, in your city, in your state.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, soon as somebody gets shot, you turn on the news.
He shows up because he's like a civil rights attorney.
Man, he ain't even like civil rights. Like, goddamn, like, where's Johnny Cochran at when you need him?
See, Johnny Cochran knows this. Johnny Cochran knows knew the cities and states that he could actually work in. Crump is just going nationwide. So I don't understand him, because I'm like, man, he's a family attorney. So I mean, he doesn't win. I mean, he's not going to win you a case. I know that. That's a guarantee. He's not going to win you a case. And the other thing, my bad. Look, hold up, George. My bad. I don't know what the hell just happened. Okay. I don't know what happened on that, George.
That was me. I couldn't really hear you that good. I dropped off and came back on.
Okay. the interesting thing about this stuff, what's up, RBR? He's a civil attorney. That's what it is. RBR, he's a civil attorney because he can't, you know, he's good on that civil case. He does get people paid on that, but when he's showing up, he's basically saying you're gonna lose.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna be here after this is over
well,
when
how,
you lose.
well, how come black leadership? How come black leadership both? Because yeah, I remember we can argue both Democrat, Republican, but when stuff like this happen, we should be coming together across the board. How come the black leadership on both sides haven't come together to get a competent black lawyer that can go in there and get something done? How come we not seeing that happen? How come there's not a black law firm with all the money and education we got? This is what both educated lames on both sides that like to be mad at so-called the people in the hood rioting. How come L.A.R. there isn't an esteemed established black law firm that we see that can go out there that's some kick-ass Negroes that can get some shit done that both groups agree on? How come we don't see that and the youth don't see it?
Because ironically, they're all kick-ass law firms that are black law firms. But when you talked about the Black Caucus earlier, they don't
Mm-hmm.
want that. They don't want that.
I know
See,
that.
they don't want that to work. Because here's the irony. If we want to do this, isn't shouldn't the last president and first lady, they know a lot of lawyers.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. And that's listen. So when the youth ask, like, well, where the fuck is the big homies at? And they ain't talking about the niggas in the street. They talking about you educated folks setting up shit. Why y'all don't care about us? Where y'all niggas at? My thing is, we seen Johnny Cochran. He turned up dead. So where is the next Johnny Cochran to say you ain't gonna do this to black people?
And
To
his
say,
firm is still alive. That's the irony.
yeah, but you know what happens.
Yeah.
They ain't like they ain't like the man.
Yeah, exactly.
My cousin Larry worked for his firm, man, down in D.C. So I know, man. I'm just saying, man. It's just I just look at other groups. They still because every group got Pookies and Ray Rays. You think Latinos got Pookies and Ray Rays, but in their community, they may hate their Pookies and Ray Rays, but they're not gonna let you talk about their Pookies and Ray Rays because it's still a representation of them. So they're not gonna just let you be going around killing. They're gonna get some. They're gonna get economic policy. They're gonna have some money. They're gonna have Jorge, Figueroa, Ramirez representing them, and they're gonna get some shit done.
You know
Nigga.
what? You said that Brandon Tatum was on a thing they was talking about are the cartels part of the protesters using this as cover. He was like, nah, that don't make sense because cartels don't get down like that. And I was thinking to myself, Brandon got a point, depending on what city and state you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But on a flip side of that, this is part of the problem where you got known groups who bring more anarchy to the United States than us, who been getting away with murder, and you gotta even say that murderous cartel members, oh, this is not their MO. Well, if you know they MO so much, they shouldn't be making so much money out here. But these are the type of people who can, and I ain't talking about Tatum when I'm saying this, saying what I'm about to say. This is the type of country we live in where protesters are more of an anarchist than the people who infiltrate, like Antifa, like neo Nazis. These other groups that are, and I can even put it into Black Lives Matter because if Black Lives Matter is not for black men,
Nope.
they're protesting. Black Lives Matter. They're talking about black women and gays. They're not talking about heterosexual black men who this stuff happens to. So they're also protest interlopers because they use protests to push their agenda so they can get something on the back end.
Yep. And I'm trying to tell the young people out here in Philadelphia that it's time. Listen, I ain't even worried about white people. I'm telling white people what they should be doing, and I did it on video. I walking up to white people in the crowd. Go protest to your people. I'm telling black people. I'm trying to organize here in Philly right now. I want thousands of black people standing outside these black churches, the Black Caucus, in City Hall. We ain't even talking to white people. We talking to you niggas because we want to see a change. If y'all don't get shit done, y'all got to go. You don't represent these wards here in Philadelphia when you afraid to ruffle the feathers of white folks. because you might lose your position. Too many of you bootlicking, homogenized ass niggas that's in position in Detroit, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and y'all ain't done shit and ain't got shit done. And then y'all come into the black community smiling and beguiling like you're doing something because you know a lot of folk don't understand how politics work. And we got to get our black traders out of there, and we got to demand that our left wing and right wing blacks do something. Y'all got to get something done. We got to see some type of policy in the police union that if they do something like this, they can lose their pension. Because this is the thing,
Yes.
what stops if you think the cop could do something like that, who's to tell you that the DA don't think like him? Who's to tell you that the white judge don't think like that police officer? He just can't do it outwardly, but they feel the same way he feels. So we always put our trust in the hands of these white DAs and white judges. That's some, like we still think like slaves. As long as they give us a job, we good. I'm
That's
sick of this shit, man.
that's what I mean. Even their protest interlopers, like the news, the justice system, because we let the system handle it. We already know how the system gonna handle it, though. I already know how this is about to go down. So let's not play this game about let the system handle it. When you and I both know, at the end of the day, the system gonna just say, you know what, we got this. Go home. Ain't nothing to see here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So when people want you to calm down protesting, they're not going to fight that hard for you in these situations when this stuff doesn't work out the way you wish it was to work out.
No, no, but they're going to fight hard for business and property owners in the community that most of us in our communities don't own. So they're going to fight for these immigrant groups. First of all, it goes good on U.S. on foreign relations. We allow immigrants to come to America and make money because we extract resources from your country.
Right.
So they're going to always defend the foreigners that in your community because those foreigners represent something for American policy. A lot of y'all don't understand that. That's why they protect them here in this country, man. We don't got no friends. I keep telling y'all that. So you ain't got to defend the Koreans, and they don't need you. They got a nation that America got to answer for, and they got America that protects them because of American policy and foreign policy. Negroes ain't got no friends but us, so stop feeling sorry for them. Their stores will be all right.
But we also got to stop thinking for some odd reason
Well,
that how can I say it in a nice way to us that what we've been doing, everything that we do doesn't necessarily work, and it does.
yep.
That's another problem that we're having as a group of black folks, where it's like, okay, what you gonna do is, oh shit, what you gonna do is you basically gonna say, we out here, we gonna make it work, we gonna work with America the way America work with us. It's gonna be fair. It's not gonna be fair. And all these people who get into these situations with us keep trying to tell us it's gonna be okay when it's not.
Nope. Nope.
Stop believing somehow it's gonna be, if protest the way I want you to protest. Chill out when I tell you to chill out. Stop when I tell you to stop. If I burn this building now, you burn this building now. No, player. I don't. We shouldn't be playing the game with these folks because all they doing is jumping in these protests to create more problems for us. And at the end of the day, they're never going to have our best by backing our best interests.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. They never did. And they get more benefits from jumping in the protests with us the same way they did in the civil rights movement than we do. But I'm telling y'all, I blame us for it because we don't demand that they do anything. If you got white friends, demand that they prove to you that they're your friend. And you put the demands on them. I need you to see you meet these demands as my friend. If they don't do it, fuck them. They ain't your friend. Because remember, white people got infrastructure where they can always go back to white people to get jobs, to get certain things. We ain't got shit. That's why we say fuck that nigga. Because that nigga's irrelevant to you because you don't need him for nothing. But you really do if you want change. When you got other people that provide your food, shelter, and clothing for you and everything else, then that black man becomes irrelevant to you. That's a shame. That's a shame. And that's why we won't do nothing together. And that's why you so apt to forgive everybody else. No, listen, you tell little Billy to prove his loyalty.
Like, hold up, Mike. And I'm guessing because anybody who grew up in Chicago, because Mike just made a point about the mayor of Chicago. You think the mayor of Chicago is doing some good during the situation. This, part of this is what I'm talking about, where I get the premise for interlopers. Because if y'all remember when the Bulls won, it was a lot of riots the first 2 times. That really wasn't us, but it was blamed on us. When they had the other riots in Chicago and the city burnt and they had businesses burning, that really wasn't us. During the civil rights movement after that, that was people who were interlopers of the movements. And, we got blamed for it. So I think the city, even in Chicago, they doing the right things. But here's the problem. What winds up happening is, this is how hypocritical and racist America is. When you know that you can join a black protest and create a riot and blame black people, and everybody who's non-black knows this, and everybody's still on the same page with being an interloper into these situations to make us look bad too. So you got, and the irony of it is, non-black people see this also, and that's one of the good things about sometimes having these interlopers is where you see people who don't believe that their groups do this type of stuff. They'll watch their own group do this stuff firsthand, because it adds on to, man, it really does go down like this. These people are really saying that, these folks are really out to get us, and they make them look bad all the time. They see this firsthand. I'm not saying that other groups can't per se help, but here's the issue. You got to help with like George said, you got to help with your own group of people. Because we're seeing the same, we're seeing whites, we're seeing Hispanics, we're seeing Asians, we're seeing Arabs, even in this country, who like, I'm on your side, and there's people in their own group, throwing Molotov cocktails, burning down businesses, throwing stuff at the police, and then getting out of the way, letting other brothers get arrested because they kicking off a fight with the police because they're not going to be looked at as a suspect. This is the thing. That's what I meant when I talked earlier about the Patriots. That was the white guys who just came and acted like they was going to help the police. You got to think and take into consideration when you could come to when black people protest, and you got people who are non-black people who can get on the same side as the police and on the same side as the protesters who are not even the police, that should let you know that cultures are playing both sides of the fence. It's one thing to have a cop doing, but when you got undercover cops on both sides, when you got people driving in from states on both sides, when you got people in hate groups on both sides, that becomes like, okay, this is a real situation. And we're not pointing out, okay, and I'm glad more brothers and sisters are pointing out, okay, this person right here, they're dressed like a cop, or they're not a police officer, but they're starting stuff and they acting like it's black folks. When people go out at night, it's different. What's going on, Mahogany? My bad. LC, my bad. Astro, what's going on? Yeah, exactly. They're instigators. And I got no problem with people peacefully protesting or not peacefully protesting. And matter of fact, let me add to this. There are a lot of protest interlopers who was mad at Colin Kaepernick who are instigating stuff right now to try to make a point, and it's them. There are a lot of white people, oh, you shouldn't protest like that. Protest. You see, they're animals, they're savages, but it's them out there doing it. And I'm not saying, our people ain't out there rioting too, but don't think, for 1 minute, when the police know, when the FBI know, when it goes down to the president and the president knows, they're not arresting these people in these riots. They're not picking out. Think about that. The police are not picking out. Oh, that's Antifa. We got to get them. Oh, them neo-Nazis. Pull them out of there. Oh, that's Klan members. Pull them out of there. They're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's a gang playing both sides of the fence. We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? This is a problem. Because I can't say anything about the other countries, because the other countries are like, they're protesting. Salute to them for that. But I don't think they have interlopers like we do. But maybe I'm wrong. Oh yeah, it's definitely long overdue, Touch. It's definitely long overdue. It's just we're in these situations where this ain't, you know, this is becoming, this is going to become a norm. Because in my opinion, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to be surprised that this happens again. You know, right? Oh, that was the dude that got caught with the arson thing, right? Cool. You know, but see, think about this. They gonna put that guy in jail for arson, but they're not gonna say, okay, he was, you know, it's not gonna go public. Oh, he was using a riot as cover or a protest as cover. This becomes problematic when people try to hijack every movement we have in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Could this be solved economically? I mean, we could economically work on it. We could work on it, you know. We could definitely work on it, but you know, we got interlopers all the time. We got people who always want to, you know, try because, you know, what did ADV say? Riots make the what is it? Wait. Riots will make this world change for the better. It depends on who's rioting in America. That's the point. See, if we riot, you know, we, we're having, you know, quote unquote racial riots or, you know, things happening from Rodney King, Martin Luther King getting shot. You know, the thing that happened in Ferguson, this, you know, the brother in Oakland. Dang, I didn't forgot. It's so many brothers get killed like this. I forget the names. But when other groups riot, they riot for pumpkins, college football games. You know, they just don't want. They just want to going off at a beach, silly stuff. But you know, people try to make the reason why we riot less as trivial as other groups riots, and it's not trivial. It's not trivial, you know. But it is what it is, you know. But personally, I mean, a lot of these businesses are gonna go out of business, you know, because financially, you know, this is part of the idea that you can buy from home. The economy is going to change just because you can buy so much from home. You know, people are buying groceries online. You know, they're tinkering with getting the groceries dropped off to your house. So a lot of brick and mortar businesses are going to go out of business anyways, you know, but they're going to still be some, you know, some places like, in my opinion, I think, you know, grocery stores, Walmart's, Targets, fast food restaurants, they're going to be your regular brick and mortars. Everything else, like mall retail, that might go out of business in the next 5-10 years.
Hey, L.A.R. A lot of people's complaining now because their stores is fucked up. And listen, protests ain't supposed to be nice. If I'm
Right.
protesting, if the people I'm protesting against can't tell me how I should protest. Other than that, it's not a fucking protest. Protest is supposed to be uncomfortable, loud, angry. Burning down. Yeah, it all depends. It all depends. White people burned this shit down. Yeah, my
Oh,
dad. Yeah, it all depends.
let me.
What I'm saying. Oh, go ahead, Leon.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna interject. For the black businesses that got burned down, don't assume black people burnt your business down.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But this is the thing. Protest is uncomfortable. A lot of y'all upset because the market or the Rite Aids or all that stuff is burned down, but you're protesting when you see these black people get killed too. You're protesting when you seeing all y'all like to talk about black on black violence because of these certain policies that's in place. If you want shit to change, you niggas gonna have to get more uncomfortable than what you are. Some gonna have to light a fire under y'all asses to get out here and make these Negroes get shit done and get policy pushed. If not, if not, I mean, you know, y'all just won't keep complaining. I'm tired of Negroes just complaining but don't want to do no work.
People are not going to try to look, man. You know, he said Gandhi broke the British Empire with boycotting British. Man, Gandhi was racist, dog. I don't care nothing about Gandhi. See, and that's another thing. He was a protest interloper too. You know, he was a leader in his own country. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't like us. He ain't like the people that was darker than him in his own country. And I understand, people took the Martin Luther King thing with all that, but no,
But see,
no,
respectfully, L.A.R. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. As a black person, if that's a black person, why would you even bring up Gandhi if you understand the history and how Gandhi viewed black people? This is our ignorance, man. We perish from lack of knowledge. We suffer from a lot of ignorance, and we don't understand. Uh, it's sad, man. It's sad. It's really sad on so many different levels, man. And you got everybody. Listen, I don't want you shouldn't hear nobody. Listen, nobody black should be disrespecting anything pro black or just calling black pro black people hoteps. None of that shit. Because listen, same thing I told O'Shea on the phone the other day. Fuck these YouTuber motherfuckers that talk this shit that be scamming people. When you talk about Ida B. Wells, Mary Bethune McLeod, we talk about Paul Robeson, Benjamin Hook, Barbara Johns, all of these people were pro black. And all these people for it died and got dogs sicked on them for us to have hold on for a second. Us to have the rights that we have today. So you be that type of pro black. You actually carry on the legacies that they pushed to get policies pushed. So we shouldn't be ashamed of being pro black. Like what the fuck? Like the more and more we start thinking from a pro black way of thinking, that's when you're gonna start making these so-called black leaders do what they gotta do because they're gonna be on fucking notice. Well, we don't put nobody on notice because we make fun of pro blacks, but then complain about white. I don't know, LAL. You got it, man. I'm just tired of
no,
these things.
man. Listen, the frustration. See, people try to say frustration isn't organized, and here's the thing, and I hope you understand what I'm about to say because I hope I say it right. Stop thinking that we as black people don't know what we're doing when we protesting and rioting, and that even goes with the pro blacks because we're doing the same thing that other groups do. It's just at the end of the day they get stuff from it. So with George talking, we need to have more people in the building. This is why I've talked about this a long time ago. This is why we need people at a local level, a local level. You know, Gandhi did not win. Like, see, this is what I'm talking about. People like M. Kennedy. Did you know? Why do you think India and Pakistan was fighting? Pakistan and Afghanistan, something like that. Just because the British just drew a line in the sand and said, this is a different country from that different country. That's it. You know, this is why we're playing. I'm not about to take the ideologies of somebody who don't like me. This is the problem that we having with the protesters, and what I mean protesting interlopers, because this is an issue. You got people who don't like us who get in the mix, and they want us to do stuff that they feel like it worked for them. It didn't work for them. And if you think it works for us the same way that you thought it would work for them, you out of your mind. You out of your mind. You know, Brian, fuck you. All lives don't matter. This is what I mean by interloper. You interloping. All lives don't matter. And all lives never mattered in America. That's complete utter bullshit. All lives matter when people go on white folks' ass. That's when all lives matter. All lives don't matter. All lives never mattered when people came to this country and stole it. All lives never mattered during slavery. All lives never mattered during Jim Crow. All lives never mattered in all these bullshit laws and procedures. All lives don't matter in the courtroom. All lives don't matter when people trying to get hired. All lives don't matter when people start businesses. All lives don't matter when people go into banks. All lives don't fucking matter. This is America. Some bullshit. Look, they don't need to stop looting. If you need to stop looting, if I'm guessing you're not black, tell your people to stop looting. You can't tell. I'm guessing you're not black by your last name, and I'm guessing you're Caucasian by your last name. You can't tell a group of non-black people to stop looting in a country that's fucking stolen when you're still stealing in it. This is the shit that I'm talking about. An interloper trying to tell somebody else what to do. Don't loot, but you're looting worldwide and in this country. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. American culture is looting, is thievery. It's burning stuff down. It's being a player hater at all costs. I got you, George. That's bullshit. When people talk about cultural appropriation, that's fucking looting. Nobody gives a shit. You know, I got you, George. Right. Colonialism is looting. You're not going to listen to a group of people who looted for a living to tell somebody to stop looting, because nobody's going to arrest the people who are looting now that look like the same people who've been looting for the last 500 years. That's a problem. It's telling people this color of people shouldn't loot, but this color of people is okay to loot. That's stupid. My bad,
LAR,
George. You got it, man.
LAR, most white people are used to telling us how to behave. You got to remember, a lot of them come out as our school teachers when we're young, and we're used to being subordinate to them. So then we actually talk to each other the way that they talk to us. You niggas, y'all better not go over there with that foolish. You know you better not go over there doing that. Y'all better stop them fools that look for them white folks come over here, because we get that indoctrination from the time we were kids in school with the white school teachers. We're told how to behave by white people. And white people are used sometimes it may be some white folks that are not even racist, but in this country they're used to telling us what to do and how we should do it. So even when we start movements, they come and they want to be in the front of it because they got to be in charge, because Negroes ain't comfortable without some white people in the front leading the charge.
This is why I don't like, because I'm sure after these riots end, it's gonna be all kind of people who aren't black and who aren't black men gonna have all these things that they need to bring to the table, and they're gonna use us as cover.
Always there, always have. But I'm at the point now in 2020 where I'm blaming us, because we know better now. What we going to do about it? Like, that's why I'm telling y'all got white friends, use their asses as cannon fire out front now. You, my friend, you get out on the front line and protest against your own people. We gonna go home. Go protest and tear this motherfucking country up, because you tired of being labeled racist because it's because of the hands of other racist
Matter of
white people.
fact, I'm gonna say something that's cold blooded. There was an article, they had like white women as a line. They were a line to block the black protesters, right? And that was dope. But don't and for the women who did that, okay, salute to you for that, because they knew they wasn't gonna get attacked like us, right? But on the flip side of that, don't think that's not gonna be a double minority picture that, you know what I'm saying, somebody's gonna change in the near future about we're protesting for women's rights, and that's gonna be a picture for it. Don't think somebody's not gonna pull that stunt.
And LAR, that's a smoke screen. Like I tell them, that don't work for George. I don't need y'all. I don't need them white bitches sitting up front and forming a line for something like that. What I need them to do is risk losing their livelihood for us. Prove yourself. Now go against the white infrastructure for reparations for black people. Become a traitor to your people. Are you willing to stand out and be looked at by your people at the behest of black people? But you say your friends, you like sleeping with black men, you like sleeping with black women, you like doing this. You say we live in this post-race utopia. Do we? But guess what? We still see it. And okay, as my friend, I have this problem, but I can't seem to talk to Mr. Charlie. You go talk to him for me. What are you willing to lose? That's the only thing that white people can do for us. I don't need you to stand in front of me at some rally where you know Mr. Charlie is not going to hit you. Nah, that's some bullshit. That shit is a smokescreen. It's corny, because these same white people will fuck you, but still won't stand for you when it really matters.
How y'all brothers
doing? You got it.
Yeah. I was just gonna make a remark. How y'all brothers doing today?
We good.
All right. Same thing about this movement is basically being overrun by a lot of white folks and a lot of the leftists. And then you have people in there with their own agenda. So this is what's happened in the civil rights movement back in the 60s, is you had black people, which we always are. We are the foot soldiers for other races, because back in the 60s, we were the foot soldiers for the fake Jewish people out there right now, because, you know, we were pushing forward integration, which destroyed us. And Martin Luther King himself said we were integrated in a burning house. So what we did when we pushed for integration is we lost control over our community as far as businesses. Now we have other nations of people Arabs, you have the Asians coming in, establishing businesses, getting easy loans. How can these people come from a different country, not even speaking English, but already have enough money to establish, a business? So now they pushed us out of our own community when it comes down to business. And with integration, what the fake Jewish were able to do was, basically were able to integrate into the mainstream white society, because at that time, they were looked down upon, even though they still had a lot of money. So what we're doing right now is, they hijacked the movement, and I don't believe in black, what was it, the All Lives Matter? The Black Lives Matter movement, because it was established by 3 lesbians who, in a video that's, I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but in a video themselves, they said that they were pushing for transgendered rights. So what I'm saying is that this movement right now, the protesting has been hijacked, and it's going to be hijacked in the future. And what they're going to do is they're going to disregard black lives and black male lives, and they're going to start pushing their own agenda, which is all lives matter, transgenders' life matter, and the LGBTQ, if you want to add that in, community. That's what they're going to be pushing for. So when it comes down to it, we as black people, we always had been the foot soldiers for other races to advance what they want or what they're looking for.
I'll say this though, because everything you said is correct. But at 2020, we had 100 years of history to look back, and we know this. And get to the point now, as black people, what we going to do about it? What type of demands are we going to force? See, the first argument has to be with black leadership. We got to call out black leadership. And black people for the longest is afraid. Most black people are afraid to call out the church. They don't want. They want to keep the pastor covered. They don't want to call out Deaconess Roberta. They don't want to call out your black counselor. Nobody wants to say nothing. No, we got to start. We got to call out these black people that we trust to get things done. And until we do that, and then we got to take a firm stance and stand on it. We can't waver and buck dance with the white man and then start to push back. We talk this kind of talk, and then we cower when it's time to get in the field, and we settle because the white man say, "Oh, cut them stupid niggas a check, give somebody an office, give one of them, whoever's the most charismatic one of the group, give him a check in the office and put him in a suit, and he'll sell the rest of them out." They already know that because niggas ain't willing to stand 10 toes down.
I'm finna just do this. You see this person on the screen? This is what I mean.
I knew you was.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean, because this would be the same type of person, the way they look, same type of fight feminism and patriarchy and be on our side and blah blah blah, and I'm with you and blah blah blah. This is what I mean by this is the type of person that use that picture and talk about women we were fighting for our rights with the picture with the white chicks at the protest. We are all God's children. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Because this is a godless fucking country. I don't know why. This is what I mean by people coming along interloping. But cool, I'm gonna put you on that. No. It's all good, fam. Cool. On the fence, flip-flopping ass, dressing like Marilyn Manson and shit. I know you don't fuck with us like this. You ain't never been on my motherfucking live about no other topic. Why are you here now?
It's probably a guy.
It's an ugly fucking guy or a girl who owns some bullshit.
Some troll trying to
exactly
revision.
Exactly.
But this is what you have. That's why, like, when you have the media out there trying to, show that it's black people out there looting, but it's so hard for them to show that it's black people out there looting or black people out there rioting. When you look at the video, you see an abundance of white folks, Mexicans and Hispanics. You don't see anybody of dark melanated skin. So it's very hard for the media to push that. They're trying to, but they can't. Especially now, back in maybe the 90s during the L.A. riots, it was easier because people didn't have camera phones. Now everybody's their own the journal. Everybody's their own journalist. Everybody has their own media, thank God that you have social media or you just have the internet and camera phones, because we're able basically to show that they're trying to change the narrative and call them out.
And part of this interloper thing, like it was like, okay, there's two lawyers in Brooklyn. They charged with throwing a Molotov cocktail. Now I'm trying to figure out, now if this is true, they stupid because they lawyers. Nobody needs a lawyer getting arrested for throwing a Molotov cocktail because they need a freaking lawyer, especially if you black. But the white dude running around with a machete, he was supposed to be a victim. The other old white dude walking around with a bow and arrow, he was supposed to be a victim after he got beat up. This is the stupidity that goes on. You know, but all these other people, this is what I mean by when people interlope, you know, they're in there trying to tell people what to do, what not to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, what. No, we ain't playing this game. Right. Right, exactly. They cause confusion. And I'm just trying to say these people exist, and you know, because it is what it is. People exist like this, who they looked at this as a perfect opportunity to do something.
Even the governor, I forgot his name, last name Waltz, first name I believe is Tim. He came out and basically said that, you know, a lot of leftist extremists and basically a lot of you know, white supremacists are actually trying to hijack and, you know, create more violence. And I remember I watched a video on WorldStar where there was just a bunch of bricks out of nowhere in front of a building that wasn't tore down yet. So now you have construction bricks in front of a building, a pallet. I'm not talking about a few bricks. I'm talking about a pallet where somebody had to actually drop that shit off from a truck, sitting in a building, waiting for looters or waiting for people.
That was in Dallas.
That was in Dallas. So you have to recognize that it's not black people out there doing this. You have these far left, leftists, and then you have these white supremacists who are out there creating this type of environment. It's not black folks.
Yeah, those left and the right, they all work together, man. They want this police state, man. I keep trying to tell people it's the same bird, just different wings. Both wings connected to the same bird, man. They on each other's side, man. They talk this shit to make you believe you have a voice, and then they go out and play golf together, man. Yeah, they don't. They're not. Do you think that one side is going to let the other side destroy the whole country? No, they work together, man. It's a lie.
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? You know, I don't care if you're a black Republican or a black so-called. Let me tell you something. Nobody was more conservative than Big Mama back in the day. Big Mama held the family down. Told your ass to get a job, get yourself together. Listen, black people, nobody was more L.A.R. Who was more conservative than black people back in the day? You could be a black conservative. That don't mean that you got to be sitting up there with racist people. It's nothing wrong with being a black conservative. Me being married with my son, riding across my dad, I have conservative views. I like nice stuff. I like nice neighborhoods. I don't like black people destroying stuff, all that. I got conservative views. But I'm not going to be up there with no racist, conservative white people. Marrying Becky's to be accepted. Fuck all of that. There's nothing wrong with being conservative. But your idea of conservatism is taking away your blackness.
I agree with you, because when you have these black conservatives, you have like guys like Officer Tatum. He has a YouTube channel, but you have these ultra.
Sniper, what's up? You see this? Hold up. Soldier, I'm about to do it. Hey, get rid of the Martin chick. Get rid of the Martin chick, because equivalent to a KKK meeting, get rid of that chick. Get rid of that chick, dude, whatever.
KKK, but we ain't killing nobody.
Yeah, get rid of her. Get rid of her. I don't even know what preceded that, but get rid of her.
That's what they like to do. They like to link black people to the KKK, trying to make us the equivalent, especially like the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers don't have a history of lynching and mobbing and killing white folks, but they like to link us to.
But proving my point again about interloping. Because what I mean at the end of the day, and I don't have a problem with other groups rocking with us on things. I don't. But I do understand you got people playing games. And that's the type of person that plays games. Because at the end of the day, what people do is they come in with their BS, their shenanigans, and they try to project it on us as a group of people, and then they want to go home to their little cushy house and act like they didn't. It's all our fault.
So
I'm
so
not with it.
so we get together in our groups and we talk about what we need to do is a KKK meeting. This is the dumbass shit. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a black person though. Say I'm in 2020. I wouldn't be surprised, L.A.R. I mean, you got more. I'm talking about. He's in line, bro. He make his way to line. Yeah, you got more homogenized bootlicking Negroes, man. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. These niggas love Mr. Charlie, man, and they hate black people. They hate they stuff in the mirror.
But I'm just glad we're more aware, because at the end of the day, you know, because when I talk about interlopers, you when I said it earlier, I wasn't talking about non-black people. I was talking about black people too, because there are black people who want people to chill out and stop and do this and do that so they could benefit.
And with me, I don't agree with the rioting and burning and looting, which, you know, half of that's brought on by, you know, the far left, far right, whatever you want to call it, or white supremacists. But, you know, we've been saying no justice, no peace for years. And I was listening to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was speaking to, I forgot her name, but he was talking to her, and he's basically saying the same sentiments I have is we've been protesting for years, marching, doing all of this. At the end of the day, what has that done for us? What has protesting and marching doing for us? It hasn't done anything. It seems like it takes violence, and it takes, you know, a severe event for these people actually to realize their wrongdoings and to actually, you know, have the process ongoing as far as getting this guy, you know, brought up on charges. Because if we were sitting there in the streets, just, you know, sitting down in the middle of the streets with our hands up, talking about you don't shoot, I can't breathe, no justice, no peace. At the end of the day, you yelling out no justice, no peace. Sometimes we got to bring that disorder, that chaos. We got to show them that no justice, no peace. We have to actually, you know, prove our words.
Look, I definitely rock with that, because I rock with Kareem wholeheartedly. I don't like protesting, because personally, I'm like, if I go out there and I start protesting and somebody does something sideways, I know I don't trust myself. You know. So if I see somebody, oh, this people don't belong here, or they trying to kick up some dust, I'm gonna flatten them. But the protesting don't do nothing, and the protesting as a group it's a television showpiece.
Yeah.
But what I do like about us protesting now, with the advent of social media and camera phones, we can actually put people on point live, put people on blast live who are fake protesting, to put us to blame us for it. Like, I'm seeing more and more people filming, you know, people who are not black tearing up stuff now than I've ever seen. You didn't see that on those old news clips. You didn't see that on those old stations. And even in American news, I'm even starting to see news outlets, when they're showing it, they can't excuse it, like, we're live right now. Yeah, and you don't see us being the ones starting this stuff.
Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. Now, with the invention of camera phones, back in the L.A. riots, they could just say, oh, look at these Negroes out there. They just, you know, looting and just stealing. They're not out there protesting. But what we're able to do now is that these media networks, they can't, you know, they can't continue with that narrative. They have to, especially now with the video, they're showing that 50% of these protesters, even more than 50%, are not even black. They can't even lie anymore, because we're calling them out. And just the proof of the video and, you know, what's going on is showing that it's not even black people who are causing all this disorder and chaos. So they can't even continue with that narrative anymore, that black people, they don't even care about George Floyd. All they're out there doing is looting and, you know, causing destruction, because proof is in the pudding. We're showing it ourselves. But when it comes down to it, you know, protesting to me is a waste of time. I feel like even though black people are not, as a collective, don't move together, during you know, the boycott, we showed our ability in the Black Dollar that if we boycott the bus system, a lot of white people were losing their jobs. Not even just the company itself, but a lot of white people started losing their job, and then the bus company had to lay off a lot of white folks. So then you had a lot of white people who were going into unemployment. So I feel like for us black people, we need to take away our black dollar. We need to stop celebrating these false holidays. We need to stop doing all of that and stop spending our money. When we take away the black dollar, that's when they suffer.
I'm gonna tell you something. You remember when they had the brothers in Mississippi, like 4 or 5 years ago, who got the false? I got you, Art. I got you, fam. About 4 or 5 years ago, they had the protests and the boycotts in Mississippi. What wound up happening was they were some of the protesters, because I knew some of them. They had to tell the black folks, stop, bring your own food. Don't go there to their stores. You're not supposed to protest in this place and give them money at the same time. That's not how you protest. You know what I'm saying? You make sure people don't make money off of you when you here, unless they look like you. But we've got that issue messed up. We've got that messed up bad. We'll go protest and then go to Chick-fil-A.
Exactly. And then burning down these businesses, I understand. But at the end of the day, they're just going to get they're going to get insurance money. The best way to do, if you want to get these other nations out of your community, stop going to their business. Stop spending money at their business, because that holds more weight. If you stop spending money at their business, now they have a lot of product on their shelves that they can't even sell, versus you burning down their business and they could just collect the insurance money because they have to pay that mortgage.
You got it, Art.
In addition to that, though, even if we get them out, you got to have some of our own to replace those businesses. So I think that's the thing, because a lot of these people go to these businesses because they're walking distance and things like that. They don't want to go an extra mile to get some eggs and all that kind of stuff. So I think if we can really encourage our young to be more business minded, start really looking into being entrepreneurs locally, I think half the problem is solved. That's why they come in there. They're like carpetbaggers, right? And then the other thing I want to mention too, that I kind of looking sideways on, is why are we having celebrities that dress to riot? That's my issue. With like celebrities that dress the pandemic. Talking about go to your favorite restaurant and just do takeout only and all that delivery. Now they got them doing the whole public service announcement for the whole riot thing. I mean, isn't that kind of strange to y'all?
I mean, I'm gonna say yes and no, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason it's strange to me is because celebrities don't never talk about these issues on a regular basis. It's only when things happen. The reason I'm gonna say no is because now you're starting to see more guys in celebrity positions. It winds up affecting them personally, because people forget. Okay, even thing with the Steven Jackson and this, with the Ahmaud Arbery, one of his family members actually played for the Lions. So you're starting to see, and this has happened This has happened more often than not, than I care to say. But you're starting to see more people like, oh yeah, I know this person. This person is related to me. This person is a friend of mine. This person, like, you starting to see that more and more. So not high profile celebrities, like people like,
that's what I'm talking about, the high profile.
Yeah. Jamie Foxx from Texas. So, he's trying to do that thing, but whatever. But, Jay-Z, you're not going to see this happening with those type of guys because it doesn't affect them personally for the most part. All the people who are celebrities.
Beyonce made an announcement.
Yeah. Hold on, RBR.
I can believe it. Beyonce.
I just checked
it's starting to look like, some people I get, some people I don't. RBR, you got it.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Okay, well, thank you for having me up, man. I appreciate it. No, this is kind of what we have prepared for and lived for all of our life. And I think that, I have anyway. And I think that that's what we're happening. We all learned in school about slavery and about genocides and stuff like that. And here we are. And what we learned in school was that who you elect to govern you is the most important thing.
Hold Hold up,
Yes.
y'all. See, this, I got to do it again. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. I just needed to put that up there.
Okay. Yes, all black lives don't matter. I get it. Now, so what I'm saying is that we learned that who we elect to govern us, who the president is, who the Congress is, who the mayor is, who hires the fucking police chief that hires the fucking racist cops that are killing black people, is the most important thing. And I understand if you didn't learn that, you think that you could put motherfuckers in power and then protest when they start killing you. Put motherfuckers in power who want to kill you and then start protesting them when they kill you. And the black women will be right there telling the black men, get out there. You don't need no bulletproof vest. Put that Target shirt on that you bought with the big Target on and get out there and get your ass shot so we can be on the arms of white men. That is really what's going on.
I find people like Brian disingenuous because when you go to these businesses and they overcharge you or they treat you like trash, that doesn't bother people. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not going to say that, all these businesses are, see, let me make it more plain. How is it that an actuary can make my life more expensive than a person of another race? But I need to care about these businesses. How is my car insurance higher than a white guy or Asian guys, and they're known for racing and we're not? Make that make sense.
Right. Well, how do we own the auto? How do we own the target score? And I had an argument with one of the people that was using the racist talking point that we're burning down our own Chevron stations and our own targets and shit. And I said, now doesn't ownership mean that you get some of the profits? Now I know on Black YouTube they owe us around $604 million on $1.36 million of sales on Black YouTube, but ownership denote that you get some of the profits. If we really do own AutoZone and Target, don't we get some of the money? If we own our communities, if we own Black YouTube and our channels and our platforms, and they made $50 billion last year, which they did, do we get some of the profits from our own businesses? Or are these businesses owned by the motherfucking racists who are ripping us a new asshole?
This is part of the problem. Well, and I said this earlier, don't come to our channels telling us what to do and what not to do, because we're not the ones burning this stuff down. We're not the ones, but the majority of these businesses that's getting burnt down and looted, we're not the ones kicking in the door, throwing rocks through the windows, breaking through, throwing Molotov cocktail. That's not us.
That's Antifa. And Antifa was the Communist Party, right? The Communist Party USA. They've been trying to recruit black people to join the Communist Party since 1959, when they had a successful communist revolution in Cuba. They killed Dr. King. They killed JFK. And they've been thinking they're dumb people. Bernie and them think if they kill the president and have a revolution, then Bernie Sanders will become the president, and then he can become Putin. It's just stupid. We don't want I did a stream last week called Antifa, Get the Hell Out of Our Protest.
Hold up.
We are not communists. We ain't going to ever be communists. Shut up. Communism is based on race and class. It's Marxism. We black. We ain't in the top 1%. So we're not going to replace fascism. They're anti-fascist. That's what Antifa stands for. We're not going to replace fascism with communism, with Putin, rooting for Putin. No, none of that white nationalist bullshit works for us because we're black. But you hit the nail on the head. It's them, and they are white, and they don't care about us. They don't care about George Floyd. They only care about the 1% of white people who believe that they should control 100% of the wealth and personal property in this country. We are a merit-based democracy. What does that mean? It means that your success in this democracy depends on your education, your experience, your desire, your talent, and your abilities, not your fucking race or your social status. And Marxism, communism, neo-Nazi nuttism, It's all based on race and class, which is why it's so attractive to white people. They think if Trump and Putin have that money, it'll trickle down to them.
Hold on. Just by happenstance, I got tired of that. And I was like, let me look up the domestic terrorist groups, right? So it's only one group that's a black group. It's called the Black Liberation Army. Now I'm going to read this out for y'all. A splinter group made up of more radical members of the Black Panther Party, the Black Liberation Army, sought to overthrow the U.S. government in the name of racial separatism and Marxist ideals. The Fraternal Order of Police blames the BLA for the murders of 13 police officers. According to a Justice Department report on BLA activity, the group was suspected of involvement in over 60 incidents of violence between 1970 and 1980. It's 2020. So even with all these damn protests, the closest you can go to as far as a black terrorist organization, their last joint was 40 years ago.
Yeah. But that's the same Marxists. When we went to see Tavis Smiley and Cornel West bash the hell out of Obama, they were panning out and I went with my daughter, but they were passing out the Communist Revolutionary magazine. And I'm like, nah, we cool on the communism, man. We just want to come and see why these niggas hate Obama because he's black. But we ain't trying to join no communist party. They always want to do that. Now, they told Martin that, look, we'll give you guys guns and you can go up there and just blast your way into the White House. They said the same thing to the Black Panthers. They said the same thing to the nation. And Brothers wasn't opposed to getting some gun. What, you gonna give us guns? No, we're not giving you guns. You go out there and shoot us. No, but we'll give you guns if you guys overthrow the government, and so they can wipe you out because they got the U.S. Army and we got some niggas with some guns trying to take on the U.S. Army. That is not what our fight is. Our fight is for social justice, okay, social justice and racial equality. It ain't got shit to do with overthrowing the fucking government and becoming Cuba. That is not what we're trying to do. And you can change your name to Antifa. You could change your name to whatever. You should look up Lamont, Communist Party USA. Founded in Chicago in 1919, but the original official was in 1975. But Bernie Sanders says that in Chicago in 1962, he joined the civil rights movement.
Hold on.
And there was no civil rights movement. There was a communist.
I'm going to ask this question for Soldier and Art. Can y'all name me, either one of y'all, Soldier first, Art second. What is a black terrorist organization in America?
You asking me first?
Yeah.
Black terrorist organization. I mean, anybody who creates.
Somebody gonna step and say black women.
No. I mean, have you heard of a black terrorist organization by the government? The government said these black people are terrorists.
No, well, they were trying to make all the Black Lives Matter movement a terrorist group, but I mean, either way, that's, like I said, it's overrun by transgender. You have the three females who said themselves that they're looking for all lives matter and they're going for transgender lives. But they were trying to make also the Black Panthers, the new Black Panthers, a terrorist group. But like I said, you can't compare the Black Panthers to the KKK, which they still haven't made a terrorist group. And the the KKK have a history of burning down houses of U.S. citizens, black primarily, and lynching black folks. But there's no such thing.
Okay, so Art, are you on the same token? You can't think of somebody that was considered a black terrorist group in America? Art.
He's thinking Move in Philadelphia. He thinking the Move organization in Philadelphia. But no, there ain't no black terrorists.
I'm saying this for a reason. Just rock with me.
Okay.
So, Art, you can't think of none either?
Man, there ain't none, because ain't no, like the brother was saying, there's hardly any group of brothers that just terrorize people that are non-black.
Okay, so the only reason I'm saying that, I'm sorry, bro.
Houses or burn crosses and tag on their homes and say "Whitey, go home" and all this. Ain't none of that stuff no black people.
So it's 4 brothers on the panel, and we can't think of people who do terrorist things that are black.
I was done.
I'm sorry, but the irony of this is every time we have a protest, there are groups of people who are considered terrorists that are not black involved in the protest. So every terrorist that got involved in the protest, every terrorist group that got involved in one of the protests that involved us wasn't black.
Yep, that's true. Do you think they realize that, or you think they're oblivious to that fact?
I've never in my entire life believed that people are oblivious to facts. I believe
It's
people,
always a plan.
yeah, I believe people know good and hell, because my thing is, I know people who are non-black know they could get away with this stuff. This is the issue that I have about these interlopers. Interlopers know they could get away with certain things. Even the people who have, let me put a caveat. Even the people who have good intentions know how far they could push the envelope. So you got to know who all the people who have bad intentions know how far they could push it too. You know, I got you, soldier.
Yep.
I mean,
what about those white hate groups that start their phony race war?
That's my point. That is exactly my point, Narby, y'all.
Talking about
if you can
a race slaughter, actually, but
how many times have you seen these groups use this to say we want to start a race war? And how many times these people been arrested?
Nope, they don't do it. They claim First Amendment rights as soon as they get out there.
Yeah, but Trump he really wants to do the whole National Guard thing or get involved. But when those guys were over there in I think it was South Carolina, they were, these guys are okay, and these guys are misunderstood, or however he was saying it. So, I mean, something is a little, but you're gonna always get some people that's gonna sit there and jump in front of the Klan and say they're not all racist. It's not about race. Like these dudes about to burn the cross. Won't you forgive them? This in the past. I'm like, man, you dangerous.
Just think about it. You had the white folks. Hold on. Just think about it. You had the white folks out there. They had guns and they're out there protesting the whole COVID-19 social distancing, staying in your house. These guys are out there with loaded weapons on their hips protesting. And when the cops were out there arresting them, there was no violence.
Can y'all see this? Is this something that black people could do? Sit in front of the police with donuts on a goddamn fence line. Is this something we could do?
No. I see it.
Nope.
That's not even something we think of. We don't think we can antagonize people like that.
No, we don't think of donuts.
When you think about it,
try to waste no fucking donuts like that.
It comes down to the question of, can black people actually be free in America ever?
No.
Exactly. That's why I believe in Marcus Garvey.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to go there. I mean, here's what we got. We got a hate crimes law in 2009, right? So the issue of whether or not we should try him, but Cuomo said it yesterday. Cuomo said it. What did he say? He said, we need a federal law that the local police department cannot prosecute these cases because these Nazis cannot police themselves. Ooh, Cuomo. And I made a snip of it and put it out there, and it got all kind of hits and shit. He said these local police departments are full of shit. They cannot prosecute these cases. Now, what do we have? We have a federal hate crimes law from 2009. We have 62 black federal judges appointed by who, the black genius. We got 61 black federal prosecutors. One of them's on the Arbery case right now. So we got the 62 black judges. We got 61 black federal prosecutors. You guys are talking about why can't we have a black prosecutor? We got 61 of them.
Now,
and they have a 98% conviction rate.
Now
locked up, dealing the death penalty, all of them.
Here's a weird thing, and I saw this on the news. They have black men who form a human shield to protect police officer during a protest, right? Because he got away from his unit. Now, here's the irony.
Wasn't fucking with him.
No.
Wasn't trying to.
No. Here's the irony of that. How often have you basically, so what you have is on film, on camera, in picture, a bunch of black men doing something for a cop that if the cop was in a situation, he wouldn't do for the black men. How often do you see a group of cops protecting a black man who's stuck, who's out of place? How often do you see that?
Yeah, not often at all.
No. But I'm gonna say though, we don't want to do to them what they be doing to us, because then we would be no better if we got into power and we start killing them. But I do believe that to use the federal laws and stop calling for these local prosecutions, because the local yokels are not going to prosecute their own. They just ain't going to do it, man. They're going to let them go every time. We have to call for federal prosecutions under the hate crimes law. I don't want to hear about Stan Brown and all that old, you look like Obama's son and all that old bullshit. It's got to be a federal prosecution with a black judge, like Amber Geiger. They prosecuted her with a black judge, a black prosecutor, and 10 of the motherfuckers on the jury with one black and one Hispanic. So what I'm saying is we have to do that. And I know that you won't, Antifa and them won't be able to do a mookie and throw the garbage can through the Sal's window and shit. But fuck them. This ain't their protest. This ain't their fight.
Here's what you said was interesting, because you said we shouldn't be like them. I remember watching a National Geographic type video of a lion hunting either a gazelle or an impala, right? And he hooked on to that antelope or whatever's snout, his nose, but they were in like a little pond. So you know what that antelope did? He pushed that lion's head into the water and he tried to drown that motherfucker. So when you say we don't need to be like them, that's bullshit. Because obviously, if they trying to kill us, it's time to drown that motherfucker.
No, we can't do that. What we have to do is, and it's well, because if we kill everybody, how would that be different than if they kill everybody? What would be the difference?
Well, here's the thing. I'm not here advocating murder. Okay, I'm not out here saying go kill people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm advocating self-defense. I'm not above self-defense. That's what I'm saying. I'm not above. I'm not going to defend myself because I'm trying to be the better person. Fuck that.
Well, here's how it is. They're not when George Zimmerman goes to Trayvon Martin's house and sits on his porch and waits for him to get home and then shoots him in the heart, he's not really defending himself. When those people chased Ahmaud Arbery down the street in a goddamn pickup truck and then get out the truck and shoot him and kill him, they're not really defending themselves.
I'm not talking about them, RBR. I'm talking about us. I'm an advocate of us defending ourselves. If you show up to my house, I'm gonna bust your shit.
You want to put in a position. I know, and see, we want to put ourselves in a position where we have to defend ourselves, and I'd rather put ourselves in a position of power and defend ourselves before they kill a motherfucker, before they start shooting, not after they beat up the girl and socked her behind the counter at the goddamn McDonald's, or after she ran out the mall and then they busted her in the head and all the niggas come in talking about we need to protect her. It's too late. And they've already shot the motherfucker. They already killed the motherfucker. They already turned the cameras off and killed Philando Castillo. Don't reach for the gun. Don't reach for the gun. I'm not reaching for a gun. Don't reach for the gun. He's not reaching for the gun. Don't you reach the gun. Pow, ping, 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 and then put the cameras back on. I told him not to reach for the gun.
That's what I mean by self-defense. Right. That's what I mean. If somebody is in that situation, let me ask you something.
Before they kill,
let me ask you this. Hold on. Does this make sense to you? If you're out somewhere and somebody is getting arrested like that, and you're hearing somebody say, "Don't reach for the gun," and they're not the cop, do you punch them in the face for trying to get that person killed? Not the cop, not the person they're arresting, but the person screaming they're reaching for the gun.
Oh, of course.
Okay,
Of
that's
course,
what I mean
of
by
course.
self-defense.
But I don't think they might not have a legal standing if they do that. The way they do it is they turn off the cameras and then they keep the audio rolling and then they say gun.
No, I'm not talking. I'm
And then
saying 4 people. A cop is arresting the person he's arresting. So a bystander talk about he's reaching for the gun, and you come around, knock out the bystander so he don't get the person killed because he on some bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
That's what I mean.
Now I don't want, yeah, and I don't want, and this is my fear. My fear is that if we keep talking about systemic and institutional racism, we're going to focus on the system and keep the racist and white supremacists in the institution and into the system. And if we do that, we could change the system all day long. Until we get rid of the racist and white supremacists within the system, then the system's going to be corrupt because it's full of racist and white supremacists. So I think a better approach would be to stop comparing Mother Teresa and Adolf Hitler and saying they're the lesser of two evils and shit. When you know damn good and well Mother Teresa ain't nowhere near Adolf Hitler. Stop telling that lie, Dr. Boyce, Willie D, and all the other motherfuckers.
You know what? Let me. I've been on this just for too long anyway. So let me get out of here, and I'm gonna go get something to eat because I'm gonna calm down because I'm starting to get pissed. Now that I'm thinking about this stuff, so
don't get pissed, man. This is good shit, man. But tell Attorney Crump, man, to help somebody that's alive, man. They owe us between Facebook and Twitter. They owe us $1.3 billion between ad sales on black content creators from Facebook and YouTube last year.
Well, I'm
white boys $2 billion paid white content creators $2 billion.
Yeah,
Did you get your share? Did I get my share? Did he get his share? None of us got our share.
Hold on.
And the reason they got paid is because we're black and they.
Let Soldier and Art, y'all can say what y'all got to finish up because I just saw something about a protester in Oakland cussed out a white dude for trying to destroy stuff. That's why I say I'm getting pissed because this is bothersome. But I'm glad it's on film.
Last thing I want to say is,
Yeah, thanks.
well, let me just say this. The last thing I want to say is I want to share this screen real quick. And what I'm about to show is basically that the FBI was already warned. I don't know. Can you see it?
Gotcha.
Can you see it right now?
Yeah, it's on.
All right. So this is PBS.org. FBI warned of white supremacists in law enforcement 10 years ago. Has anything changed? If you look, this was October 21st, 2016. Highlighted, I have right here. It says in the 2006 bulletin, FBI detailed the threat of white nationalists and skinheads infiltrating police in order to disrupt investigation against fellow members and recruit other supremacists. So, you know, this thing's been going on for a while now, and the FBI already know about how white supremacists are infiltrating basically local police departments and they're terrorizing black folks. So you can actually call the police departments domestic terrorists if you want. That's all I have to say. You guys have a blessed day, and I'm out.
You got it. All right,
Thank you, brother.
No problem, RBR. All right, you got
All
it.
right.
Yeah, thanks for having
good.
me out. Yeah, thanks for having me up here. I'm just came here to add and support, and you know, I see the same things you see, man. I just hope that we start waking up more and stop being so blind about things. Just keep a non-black friend. You know, they'll like you if you like your own. You don't have to be afraid of that. And that's all I gotta say.
All right,
Peace.
thanks, man.
Thanks, fam.
You say what you got to say, Harvey. Okay. Thank y'all for coming, man. I'm gonna get out of here, man, because this is, you know, salute to George too, and subscribe to everybody. RBR, Art. You know what I'm saying? Soldier and George. You know, this is bothersome. I hate to say that, but this is bothersome. I'm out, y'all. Take care.